why can't girls do what boys do? Why do we have to be quiet and be good? Sometimes I should say no in life.
How much have you raised?
Approximately 2.5 million.
Do kids kill ambition?
I had 3 kids under 4 and didn't have a day of maternity leave because you can't. Would I have done it without ADHD? Absolutely not. And I always say, well, what if I don't do it? Will I regret it? I'm very much swinging. It's sort of that middle-aged rage. You launch amazing businesses and you have the best sex.
I'm Tinuke, adventurer and entrepreneur. I spend my time exploring the wilderness and pushing my boundaries in nature. Now, I'm taking some of the UK's most inspirational female founders and business leaders on an expedition to get their take on ambition, leadership, and balance. Today, I'm with Sayle, founder and CEO of Killing Kittens, a female-led movement making headlines for sex parties, hedonistic cruises, and swinging retreats, whilst redefining female empowerment and pleasure. As a midlife woman with ADHD and a mum to 3 young kids, Emma is fearless, unapologetic, and ready to take on the wilderness.
I mean, I knew early doors I was pretty unemployable, even at school.
What did your school report say?
I remember one, a PE teacher, I actually found it the other day, said in the short space of time I've known Emma, I found her to be cheeky, overly opinionated, thoroughly obnoxious. She'll go far. And yeah, my kids thought it was hilarious.
So was there a specific moment when you realised you wanted to become an entrepreneur?
I think for most entrepreneurs, you kind of become an entrepreneur by default.
Yeah.
You sort of want to change the world, something's really annoyed you and you want to fix it, or you've gone to look for something and it's not there, so you're like, right, sod it, I'll build it myself. Guys could just sleep around and do whatever they wanted and they were still legends, and God forbid a girl had a one-night stand and it was like a slut. I was so sort of annoyed and angry. Well, why can't girls do what boys do? Why do we have to be quiet and be good? And our early 20s hit London, and I was out and about with quite a well-known group. They just owned their sexuality. They were in the media like swinging and swapping and not caring, and I just was in awe of them. And we were all at a wedding in Ibiza, and someone just phoned in who couldn't make the wedding and said, you just sat around killing kittens at the moment, which was basically slang for every time you masturbate, God kills a kitten. And I just went, that's it. I want to create a world online and offline where the women are in control, where there's no shame, there's no judgment, you can talk openly about anything to do with sex. So what started as parties for sort of 30, 40 people with kind of small chat groups online has grown into a massive sort of global community. It's basically that safe space and the whole ecosystem to your adult life to go and explore your sexuality and actually learn what makes you tick, because women don't do that. We're taught from an early age that sex and sexual pleasure is to do with a man.
So I'd love to know what your friends and family said when you pitched them your business idea.
Do you know what? I didn't. It wasn't like I really went to them
Yeah.
and pitched it. And
Not asking for permission.
And yeah, there wasn't a huge amount. It was more, this is what I'm doing. Dad had thought it was just sort of maybe a singles night or something like that. And I remember Mum telling me that he stormed, getting her into the office. Have you seen this? And Mum went, yeah, that's what she's doing. And yeah, let's just say his computer went flying across the room. Apparently, when he realised what it was.
Right.
There was a lot of what are you doing? Are you mad?
If someone's thinks it's a ridiculous idea or thinks that it's a phase or that you're being crazy, it's like, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Well, that's the thing. It's actually, I joke now, it's 20 years this year. It's like, well, I'm still,
Still
people
going.
are like, he's still going and still got a load more people to prove wrong. And
Yeah.
so when I do get abuse or someone says something, it's like, right, you,
Yeah.
watch me. So I think, I always say the day that I'm not getting abuse is the day that I'm like,
not doing enough.
Yeah, no, I need to step up my game.
Does being an entrepreneur ever feel like you're about to fall off a cliff?
Every day.
Yeah.
I mean, every day there's a different cliff and you don't know how high it is because you haven't seen the cliff. So you literally get to the top of the cliff and you're like, you don't know what's below it. It's the only bondage I do. I'm not into the other stuff. Some people are. I'm holding on for dear life with this thing here until I'm attached to a harness. shit you say yes to in life? I'm very much swinging. Ah!
What's your biggest fear?
That fear of like really not giving my one life, you know, absolute biggest shot. So I always go, what's the worst that can happen? It's that, you know, let's give it a go. It's, you know, in business, you just sort of go, well, go with your gut. And I always say, well, what if I don't do it? Will I regret it? What, on my deathbed? Shit, I should have done that.
Well done.
Ooh.
You did it.
I know.
So Emma, have you found where your limits are?
I don't know. I don't think I have found my limit. I think, what are limits? You go to one limit and you think, oh, I've done that. What else can be done? And it's the same in business. It's sort of, as movements grow, it just becomes a beast, and you just have to take the beast and kind of, well, where's it going to go? Yeah, exactly.
Do you think founders are honest enough about how hard it is to run your own business?
It's not all it's cracked out to be. Is life much easier often when you're in a 9 to 5 and someone else is paying you? 100%. I had 3 kids under 4 and I didn't have a day of maternity leave because you can't. But there is that thing in founders and entrepreneurs that, you know, that make us do what we do. I always say you've got one life.
Yeah.
And you can stay in the safe lane, you can stay in the slow lane, or you can, you know, take the risks and try new things. You do have one life.
You've spoken really openly about your ADHD, and I'd love to know how it's affected your approach to business.
My ADHD, I think the further along I've gone, the more things make sense. Most entrepreneurs are neurospicy in some capacity, and it's you know, it's the risk taking. It's like, would I have done what I did age 25 and taken that risk and launching what I launched with, you know, abuse and you know, it was 20 years ago, and like women and sex, and it's not, even now it's bad, but would I have done it without ADHD? Absolutely not.
What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Other than 3 kids under 10.
Yeah.
Partly there is them in you know, what I want the world to look like for them when they're adults, especially 2 girls. And often it's like, well, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
That's how the world is, so just shut up and put up. And or you can challenge the status quo and you can change it.
Nothing like the sweet smell of injustice to get you up in the morning.
Exactly.
As a woman, in your experience, do you feel like there's more pressure to be a change maker?
We live in a very male-built world. You know, I love men, but it's, you know, it's the patriarchy and everything's built by men, designed by men, tested on men. I know a lot of women founders, you know, have been driven by wanting to change the world. You know, when a lot of women start a business and it might start as a side hustle, it's like, oh, you know, is that humour her? It's just a hobby.
Humour
it's sort
her.
of, it's
What a horrible
yeah, exactly.
saying.
Let her have a little hobby, rather than, you know, often with men that came up with the same idea, it's a serious business idea.
Yeah.
And it's taken seriously and it's funded. Less than 2% of VC funding, and funding, you know, funds go to women.
Why do you think that is?
It's men, you know, deciding where funds go. And I always say, if it doesn't affect them, if the product doesn't affect them and they can't relate to it, then they don't see it.
Yeah.
It's why, you know, erectile dysfunction is $1 trillion bloody industry that's funded instantly, billions, because God forbid a man can't get it up. Which is sort of, you know, it's a small percent, but then you look at the other femtech out there that affects, you know, 50% of the world's population, from menopause, you know, period out, everything like that, and or femtech, sex tech, to do with women, and the funding is non-existent. It's sort of, oh look, women want to have an orgasm, but that doesn't really affect men. You need female investors and female-run funds, or women at the top making the decisions.
Action is required.
Yeah, exactly.
You've been on an incredible fundraising journey. How much have you raised?
Approximately 2.5 million.
Wow. So what is it like pitching your type of business to investors?
Hard. It's hard work pitching. I mean, because we're adult, we early doors have gone down the crowd, right?
Crowdfunding.
You know, crowdfunding, because we've got so many members. I think we've got, you know, 2,500 investors now.
Yeah.
So, and actually it's nice because it's a female bit. We wanted, like, you know, a woman, you know, who can't afford much to be able to put 50 quid in. So
Yeah.
It just lets everyone, and then you've got masses of ambassadors out there.
Yeah, incredible.
And it's all about advocacy and it's community, and that's, you know, that's what we're all about.
So when did you decide that you want to start a family, and how did that affect your business?
Do you know what? I didn't.
Fair enough.
I'd been with my now husband about 11 months, and we had a drunk New Year.
Lovely.
And I lost track of time,
Yeah.
and yeah, ended up getting pregnant. And that's how we had kids. We didn't want an only child. So, and then the third one was, you know, day 5 of my cycle, turning 40 when you're not meant to get pregnant. I remember like mum saying to me, this was the only way it would have happened.
Yeah.
Because I was never ready. If you had said to me, right, you know, let's start a family, let's have kids now, I'd be like, absolutely not. Do you know what? It works.
Yeah.
You make it work.
You make it work.
It happens, and I think part of the way it does work is because you have another baby. I would say KK as my firstborn. You just make it work.
Yeah.
But there is never the right time to do it.
Do kids kill ambition?
You've still got the ambition, it's just harder to go through with the ambition. But what it does do is makes me realise what's really important and what's not. So I don't get caught up in the white noise and the little things. It's like, these are the big goals, these are big things that are important, and so I don't think about the other stuff. It makes me say no a lot more, except for abseiling down a cliff, which I should have said no to.
So how has perimenopause affected your professional life?
No one tells you, it's like, it's a good decade of symptoms, and it's crazy because you can be driving along the road, and I stopped a few times because I totally forgot where I was going. Women I know, you know, in their 40s, you know, that's when you've got smallish kids or teenagers, and so you've got that crazy in the mix. I mean, you know, there's a reason why the average age of divorce is 46, and the group that are given antidepressants, you know, more than any other group are mid-40-year-old women. And, you know, that's the age where women are leaving jobs. So what you wanted in your 20s, it's completely different. And, you know, women are looking at their husbands or partners and going, I don't really want you anymore. I don't see the same. I don't need that. And it's like no are no longer given. It helps a bit because that's what we are doing, trying to empower women to own their voice and come out of bad relationships and, you know, really realise what they want sexually. It's sort of that kind of middle-aged rage. You get your true people around you, you launch amazing businesses, and, you know, you have the best sex.
Yeah. in light of not giving a fuck, shall we get in the water? Yeah, should we get our kit off and go get in the water?
A casual cold dip.
3, 2, 1. What legacy do you want to leave behind with KK?
Do you know what? I just want to leave the world in a better place than when I came into it for girls and women.
Yeah.
You know, if that's my legacy, that I have changed just, you know, one woman's life out of a bad relationship and empowered them to go out and do something, whether it's launch a business, leave a marriage, kind of, you know, it's that's enough for me.
Yeah, I love that. Who are any of the other women that you want to give a big shout out to?
Do you know what? Maybe not anyone individually, it's more the sisterhood, and they know who they are. And if you haven't got a tribe of sisterhood, then you need to go and find one.
What's next for Killing Kittens?
It is, do you know what? It's 20 years building what I call different runways, and the planes are on the runways and they're all built and they're ready to take off. We've launched 4 cruises, 1 cruise next year, then 28, 27, another one, and 2 and 28. They're all selling well. We're looking for a site for a KK host house. We've got the movement, we've got the momentum, and you know, the following and the community. There's this big fire in midlife women's bellies as well, which helps us. And there's big kind of intrigue and sexuality, and people really wanting to know what makes them tick and realising that actually that's your core, and if you're not looking after that, then how can you know, be the best version of yourself in the rest of your life. So
Incredible.
It's, yeah, we're kind of ready and built and
Ready
about
to
to take off. Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Thanks for watching CEOs Go Wild with Emma Sayle, founder and CEO of Killing Kittens. Please like, comment and subscribe for more adventures.